Hey everybody, what's up? It's Friday, July 25th. So it's time for me to do my Friday after Bill Burr's Thursday before Friday, just before the weekend, Monday morning podcast. It is Joe, as you know. And first off, today we got Happy Gilmore. I'm doing this on my way to work this morning, so I haven't got to fucking see it yet. So don't go fucking spoiling it, man. Jeez, you're already telling me shit I didn't want to hear. You know, I didn't know it was out today. No, honestly, I'm kidding. I'm in a fucking decent mood this morning. Surprisingly, with all the fucking bad shit that's happened this week, I mean, God, we lost, Ozzy, which, I don't know how you feel, but I definitely, watching this last concert, the Back to the Beginning, watching that on YouTube and then seeing, up close when he was singing the Mom Coming Home, and people in the comments were saying, it really seems like he's singing it different this time, yeah, I felt that, and so I was talking to a friend about this, I'm not, obviously I want to live to an older age, I want to have I did have a marriage, which worked out great for a while, but, obviously didn't stay, so, I'd love to get married and actually be with the person that's, meant to be by my side. That plus, I'd love to have kids, which, that's one of the reasons that I guess I could say this channel or whatever, or me, I look up to Bill, is because besides relating to a lot of the comedy and a lot of the anger shit, he kind of gives me hope that I can have fucking kids when, if I'm 45, 50 and still, hopefully still be alive and healthy enough to do stuff with them. I mean, I look outside now, not look outside like that, but, I think now, like in the winter, as I'm driving and I see big piles of snow, you go to a store and they got the pile where they, they plowed the roads and everything piled up on the side, and then they, stuffed it all into one big, so you got like a 20-foot pile of snow, and it's just like, man, how fun it'd be just to be like, hey kids, you want to go, have some fun in the snow, and say it's not too, say it's only like a foot of snow around the house, instead of just, I can't throw them into a foot of snow on the ground. I don't want to fucking, belly flop my kids off the grass or off the, but, no, like one of those 20-foot, piles that they pile up by a Walmart or a fucking shopping plaza. I know if it's dirty, I'm not doing that, but no, I mean, when I was a kid, my uncle threw me into he had a fenced-in backyard. I don't remember how big it was as a kid, so it might have been a small yard. Maybe that's why the snow was high, but because of the fence and the amount of snow, it was it was up to the top of the fence, and I was too short to see the top, so when he threw me over the fence, I did the Wile E. Coyote, hole in the ground, fucking, it's the shape of my body went down, but when I hit the snow, it was when I stood up, I couldn't see the top, and they were find your way back to the back door, and that was their way of keeping the kids busy, during the winter. It was having us play in the snow and finding our way home through the snow, tunneling. But no, so yeah, I'm fucking, a little peppy this morning. I mean, there's no fucking reason to be. Listened to Bill yesterday, his Thursday cast. He said he recorded it at 3 a.m., which I'm wondering, is that 3 in Los Angeles? Oh, well, I think he said he was back in Los Angeles. I thought he said that fucking Monday. But then he was talking about jet lag and flying home on the Thursday cast. But I could have swore on Monday he said, I'm finally home. Maybe he said I'm finally going home. Maybe that's what he said. I don't know. But either way, I was, going back to my Monday cast when I was talking about hopefully he doesn't get paid. Well, I know he gets paid, but hopefully he's not doing it just for the money. If you're literally podcasting still, since he's been doing it for years now, and that's not how he got famous, so he doesn't have to do it. So I just think, it's either the companies are giving him enough money to where he's like, fuck it, I'll just talk. Because on Monday, at the end, he's like, all right, that's the podcast. And he's right before he right before it's the recording's cut. You know, whether it was meant to be edited out and they just missed that first part, or maybe, you know, they don't edit the ending of it, or, you know, if he doesn't feel it needs to be edited. I don't know how he does it, but right at the end, you know, he's like, all right, and that's the podcast, and then it's quiet, and you can kind of hear the, you know, ruffling sound, like he's grabbing the camera or grabbing the microphone, and you hear him do like a little sigh, almost like like, fuck, and thank God I'm done doing that dumb shit, you know. Or I mean, that's just the way I heard it. And it's probably my negative side of my mind, thinking not the worst in people. I don't see the worst in people. I usually try to see the good, but sometimes, I'm not saying even this, I'm not saying this is, you know, Bill, but I'm just saying in general, sometimes you see something in somebody you just can't unsee, or not unsee, but, you know, like, you might want to see the best in people, but somebody just shows you something ugly about them or bad about them. And then, you know, you might still try to see the best in that person, but it's like they have that blemish of, well, you know, I did see for example, like I did see whatever, you know, treat your kids bad, or did your wife, or you did this at work, or whatever the case. So, yeah, that's probably just where my mind's going, being negative, like, oh, you know, fucking, because all he does is bitch about the billionaires, so I feel like all I gotta do is fucking bitch about the millionaires, and that's him. But, and that part, you know, it sucks, because, like I said, I'm not gonna keep ragging on him for that, because it's so repetitive, it's ridiculous, but I'm also not gonna sit here and argue the whole, you know, white people, and what black people, and Indian people, and, you know, and Asian people, and this people, and that people. Like, I'm not going to argue over what CEO controls what, you know, and what color they are and all that, because if I argue the not pro-white, but, like, if I argue that, you know, like I say, my belief, you know, in today's world, like, the poor people, you know, I'm just as in a shitty situation as anybody of any race or color or creed or religion that makes the same amount of money as me, that lives in the same situations. You know, we're in the same situations. Like, you know, your gas is just as expensive as my gas and things. And now with the police, the government, with the way they treat people, now that's, you know, that's to be an argument. That's a different argument for a different day. But, you know, at least just economically, I mean, and I don't even know, you know, how it works with applying for loans and shit, because that's all on the computer now, and, you know, that's always been a fine print fucking, you know, hand-picked deal. Like, they hand-pick the people they want to give loans to or credit cards to and things like that. So, you know, I can't speak on how that works for any equality, but no, it's just, you know, it's one thing to make something clear or known, but it's another thing to just go on now, what, for fucking months? Like I said, I really think he might be starting to fucking campaign. He might be running for president for, you know, the Burr party, or I don't know, fucking a third party, I don't know. But that's what it feels like, is he's, you know, gearing up his debate. Like, you know, he's starting his fucking, you know, like, anti-billionaire, older white men and women, I guess. I think older. I don't think he said younger. Hopefully not, because I'm not fucking out here taking advantage of nobody, you know, because they're fucking, like, I don't make extra money at work because we have any, you know, other races or cultures working there. Like, it's not like, oh, you know, well, since you got, you know, this many dark-skinned people, you know, you get a couple extra dollars an hour for being in the building. Like, you know, it's fucking, you know, no, we all make the, you know, well, not all make the same, but, you know, we all start at the same pay at least. And nobody acts any different towards anybody else. So that's what I mean, you know, as far as, like, you know, that's the life that I've been raised in and live in and whatever. But I do see, like I said, police, blah, blah, blah. And here I am saying I'm not going to talk about what fucking Bill goes on about, and then here I am talking about it. No, my question, though, was, so that him getting paid part, you know, like I said, hopefully he's not doing the podcast just because he gets money from his sponsors that he reads their shit, you know. I mean, that, hopefully he's doing it to actually just for the fans, you know, and hopefully the money's a little bonus. Like, that's like how I'm doing it. I'm not making any money. I can't even say I'm doing it for the fans, you know, like, cause, you know, I don't even know how many listeners. I haven't paid attention, just cause it's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna make the cast for, you know, make it for a fucking, you know, year, 2, 3, whatever, however long I feel like making it, you know. And I mean, the way I feel is, you know, anything big, like anything money or serious, isn't gonna come off on a fucking comment or as a view or a like, you know. I mean, of course I'll take all that shit, but no, if anything's ever gonna happen that would be a life changer, it's gonna come through email, phone call, you know, etc. But even then, you know, I'm not expecting anything out of it. I'm just expecting, you know, it's like a voice diary of like what I feel through the days and shit, you know. So it'd be cool if I do have kids, you know. Fuck it, like, you know, Dad had 20 listeners, you know, he had 20 listeners in his day, but, you know, fuck it. But, you know, but now at least when I pass away, you know, my kids, my sisters, whoever has, you know, YouTube, or by that time, you know, I'll have maybe gone to Spotify and all the other shit. But, you know, it'll be something for them to listen to and be like, oh, you know, wow, you know, July 25th, 2025, you know, we were only this old, but, you know, Dad or, you know, my brother, my uncle, whatever, you know, whoever's in the family looking up to me, grandpa, you know, great uncle, whatever I am, you know, when I'm older, if I get, like I said, hopefully get far enough, you know, they could be like, wow, you know, on July 25th, in his podcast, he said, you know, Happy Madison 2 was coming out, and he watched it that night. So then, you know, on July 25th, you know, my grandkids or great-grand or whoever's listening, you know, on future July 25th, it could become a fucking family tradition or something, you know, who knows. But point is, you know, it's not just, you know, for me at least, it's, you know, I know it's a 1 in a million shot for people like us, you know, at the bottom to fucking get a chance at any, you know, decent, good life. And that's even if you get a degree. I know people with, you know, bachelor's and master's degrees that are working at, like, you know, Target as a cat. Well, not anymore, but, you know, back in the cashier days, you know, you'd see people and talk to them, and it's like, yeah, you know, I got a degree in, you know, biological whatever, or, you know, biological this or engineering this or what. And it's like, well, what are you doing at Target? And it's like, well, it's just the industry's, you know, flooded with engineers. It's flooded with psychologists. It's flooded with, you know, so many people are trying to do so many, you know, careers that it's like, all right, well, you know, there's 100,000 engineer jobs open, and there's, you know, 17 million engineers in school. So, you know, it's like fucking, it's damn near like the fucking NFL, NHL, like pro sports draft. You know, you got to be like fucking, you know, the first pick, you know, with the first pick, Boeing or, you know, whatever takes this engineer, you know, whatever, whoever. And that's pretty much how it feels. So, you know, and then the only other way is either lottery or getting lucky. And even lottery, you got to be smart enough to invest it, you know, in something that's going to make you more money. And if you're going for any kind of fame, then you got to make movies, music, something. Like even the fucking, the Hawk Tuah girl, I guess she got fame before money, but I guess it all came kind of at the same time. But anyways, so back to fucking Bill. His podcast for yesterday was basically, I mean, it's just, you know, the way I listen to it, and like I said, usually it's at work, so I am, you know, halfway in. I'm usually more in when he's funny, but this one I was halfway in. I think I was talking to some coworkers, you know, just having a good day yesterday. Might be why I'm feeling all right today. I don't know, but you know, he does the half hour, and it seemed like he even said it was mostly just rambling about him liking the Red Sox, which you know, I'm not gonna sit there and say it was a bad cast or nothing, but well, nah, fuck it. I guess it's just like mine. He just you know, starts the video and fucking, you know, he might have some notes, he might not, but he rambles. Oh no, yeah. Call back to the thing I've never fucking answered. When I mentioned the money part and all that with his cast, where I was trying to go with this, let's see, fucking 8 to 10 minutes ago, where I was trying to go with it is, Does he do, when he did it, he said he did it at 3 a.m. Okay, so, like, that, to me, that means, see, now that's where it's like we're playing a game of chess, you know. I mean, obviously he doesn't know he's playing, you know. I'm just fucking over here playing chess in my own head. Well, actually, yeah, so it's just me. It's fucking schizo. It's me and, like, my fake Bill identity that, you know, thinks it knows what Bill's doing. No, I don't fucking, you know, I don't know, but, no, it's, I say chess because, you know, at first I start in the middle. He does the podcast, you know, a little bit for the money and a little bit for the fans. And then, you know, I lean one way or the other way. And then it's like, you know, it's like the tug of war, you know. It's like the angel and devil on each side, and they're pulling. And, you know, some days one pulls stronger and other days the other. And so with this, you know, the 3 a.m., it actually, instead of one pulling in one direction, it stretches the extremes, doing it for the fans or doing it for the money, or for both. It stretches those possibilities all three out, because 3 a.m., you're that dedicated to your fans that you know that you're going to be sleepy all day Thursday, you're not going to do it, and you'd rather do it early than late. Is that, you know, that would be for the fans. Because the money, I mean, you know, he's done late. He said, you know, sorry it's Tuesday, but, you know, fuck you, I'm doing my Monday anyway. I think he's, you know, done Thursdays on Friday. So, you know, he's done late plenty. So doing it early, well, actually, I guess the late plenty, that means, like, to me, that means it would pull more in the money direction, because he's got to get the read in, you know, by Thursday at a certain time, maybe. I don't know. But, or, you know, or, I mean, yeah, because it's 3 a.m. He talks about being tired, jet lag. I know if you're home, well, I can't say that because Bill probably has a 9,000 room fucking house or something. Well, he even said in the one joke, he's like, you know, I'm in the upstairs bathroom, you know, when he has the drop dead years thing or whatever, and he's on the upstairs and his wife's downstairs, you know, fucking sending him a Amazon Prime food delivery through the microwave and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so yeah, I guess, you know, he could be podcasting at 3 a.m. and you wouldn't hear it. He has mentioned not waking the family up before, so I guess he could have been at home. But no, I'm just thinking, you know, I know it's only a half hour, and Andrew the Feminist fucking does his little shoobity-doo-bop transfer music, and then he does his fucking, you know, his podcast of the fucking, the next, not the next day, the Thursday, you know, from forever ago podcast that makes his Thursday seem like it's an hour and a half long, which, I mean, I know, and actually I've heard people say, you know, I listened to one of your old casts, and, you know, I mean, I would, but there's, like I said, there's not, you know, I can't talk to him, or I can't, you know, go on Bill about anything like that, so it's like, yeah, there's no point for me to, I mean, I could listen for entertainment, I guess, but, you know, I already know, like, I watched his stand-ups and shit like that, you know, so I kind of know where his mind was at in those days, you know, or those times. So, you know, I don't know, it just seems to me like it's a waste to go into the other hour. You know, I'm not going to give you an hour and a half Thursday podcast, or Friday, sorry, you know, I'm not going to do a Friday reaction and do an hour reaction to, you know, podcast that you guys have already listened to, or if you're a, you know, Bill fan, if you're just listening to me, then, hey, thanks, but, I'm still not going to waste your time, which, you know, hopefully you thank me for not wasting your time, besides what I'm already wasting, but, you know, it is what it is. I guess if you're listening, you shouldn't be thanking me for wasting, well, actually, no, you shouldn't be thanking me at all, I'm just doing this for fun, but I was going to say, if you're listening, then you shouldn't get mad, because you're the one that's not clicking off. But no, so yeah, being 3 a.m, you know, it's like, are you doing it to get it out of the way? Are you doing it because, you know, like I said, for the fans? But even then, it wasn't posted, you know, early. It was still like 2 or 3 o'clock for me Thursday. So maybe early for him if he's out in Los Angeles, you know. You know, and maybe he was like, Andrew, you know, you got to stay awake. Andrew, you know, you got to stay awake and edit this and make it pretty for me. I'm going to fucking bed. You know, I'm going to lay with my beautiful wife and my kids and all my happy family while you stay up all night doing dirty work. I don't know what he says. But yeah, so, you know, like I said, I'm not having nothing to say on that cast, but one thing that was actually funny to me, and I do have a response to what Bill said. He's doing his ad read, and it's that fucking safety thing. I don't even remember the exact name. It's not ADT or what. It was one of their competitors or some shit. I don't fucking know, but it's one of those fucking, you know, they watch the house, and he's talking about the person watching your yard, and he said something about, he goes to this where like I said, I lost it a little, but he goes into like having like an AI version of yourself or version of somebody to do the like do the talking and stuff, and he was doing the real deep, like, you know, hey, I'm watching you, you know, and doing the real creepy kind of shit, like, instead of being just the typical security, you know, hey, this is not your yard, you know, we'll be calling the police. He was doing like the real, like, you know, it puts the lotion on the skin kind of guy, you know, like the Hannibal thing, you know, like where he's like, you know, you want to step in my grass, do you, buddy, do you? You know, like some weird shit. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, you know, you're more scared of the owner now than the cop. You're like, please call the cops. I don't know what you're going to do to me. But so that was funny. But then what he said is he went into something about, he's like, yeah, that's what they should do, is just to make the AI, security thing. He's like, and we can do battle bots. And he's like, see, I just came up with a great show. And I'm sorry to say, but I have to say my show idea is better. If you're going to do AI, especially with these, you got the Tesla robots, and then there's other robots now, like, I've seen, you know, online, they got, like, realistic, like, it's advertising, like, realistic looking, like the movie Megan, where it's, like, a little, like, looks like a human pretty much, but you could tell it's, you know, the latex or rubber skin or whatever it is, but, like, besides that, it's, you know, you can't tell that it's not a human, you know, really. I forget the other movie, Subservient or something with Megan Fox, and she's an AI caretaker in that. But point is, you know, battle bots. I mean, I guess that might have been popular at some point. And when I was a kid, you know, I remember having like the mini battle bot kind of things. But what I think is a way better idea, since you're going AI, dude, Bill, listen, if we're going AI and we're making a TV show or a series based on, you know, AI battling each other, why aren't we not going to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch? Tell me, you know, screw the, you know, 1455 Main Street, you know, security robot versus the fucking, you know, 1457 across the street, you know, because the street light was flickering, so the robot thought somebody was fucking with them, you know, and then they had the battle bot thing. Like, nah, screw that, you know. Not screw that, you know. I'm not saying Bill's idea was stupid, but as soon as he said it, I'm like, no, man, fucking, if you're gonna do AI and you're gonna do like a robot battle or something, let's do fucking Celebrity Deathmatch, man, because that show was hilarious. And you can't tell me with the celebrities and all the drama going on between the Diddy shit, the fucking, you know, our leaders, you know, our representatives, whatever you want to call them, all those people, like, you know, then you got the Swift and all the Swifties and all that. I mean, there's so many storylines, you know, not even bad people. Like, when I said Swift, like, I was thinking, well, she's not bad, you know, people just don't like her because she's rich and popular and you know, pretty, whatever. I don't know what it is, but you know, people have their reasons for not liking her, whatever. But what I mean is, like, you know, bad, like, people can view the president as a good or bad. You know, some people, oh, he's great and he's making the country amazing, and some people are like, you know, he's horrible, we're gonna, you know, life's over, blah blah blah. But I mean, tell me that Celebrity Deathmatch AI robots. So you got an AI fake, you know, you got a robot version of, you know, a robot Trump versus a robot Musk. You know, they had the breakup, right? So you got the robots, and they got the faces, so it looks like them, but it's not actually them. So you don't, you know, you get away. It's like the video games, like how people are like, oh, you know, you shouldn't play Grand Theft Auto because it promotes violence and this and that. It's kind of like, well, I don't know, for everybody, I can't speak for everybody. I can't even really speak for myself because I never really wanted to be violent. And I've always understood, like, from a young age, you know, that, like, there's no respawning in life. You know, at least not in the way that, you know, video games, like, I'm not coming back as me, you know, if I do come back. But, no, the video games, for a lot of my friends, at least, and a lot of my, you know, schoolmates, or whatever you want to call it, classmates, you know, and shit back in the day, for them it was like, well, you know, this is a way to do the stuff that would be fun, you know, but you can actually do it because it's a game, so you can actually, you know, it's a video game, so in a video game you can actually, like Call of Duty, you know, you can actually go around and, you know, shoot people and then you fucking teabag them because you shot, you know, I mean, but imagine doing that in real life. Imagine at a gas station that happens and someone's sitting there teabagging the fucking person. Like, the news would be all over it. The news would be all over it. Fucking, I mean, it'd be a story, you know. It'd be a thing. Like, it wouldn't be just, you know, like, so that's where the video games, you know, so that, and that part, you know, do the AI, and so you get your anger out, you know, like, you watch the episode, like, say you're anti, like I said, you're not a Swiftie, you're anti-Swift. Okay, fine. So you watch the episode, that you know, your episode would be the one that, it'd be like her versus whoever, you know, her versus, let's see, it's always random. It'd be, like Drew Carey. I don't fucking know. But, you know, but you'd watch the episode because it's like, you know, that's the person, and you'd get your, like, I feel like that's where people got their, you know, dislike for people out, you know, was watching that show, and it was like, I don't know, I mean, I can't say that, you know, it's true or not, that's just me talking out of my ass, but when he said that, I thought, you know, that's a way better idea for a show, which somebody fucking pitched that shit to him, and get his money on a fucking new Celebrity Deathmatch, because tell me that wouldn't make money, man. I mean, I don't know who produced it and whatnot, and, you know, I get the claymation and whatnot, may have, you know, contributed to it not working out, but, you know, that show was it was funny as hell, and like I said, that was back then, so, with all the celebrity stuff and all that now, I mean, God, you can have Ozzy come back against Swift, you know, I mean, there's so many, or Ozzy come back against, you know, Putin or Trump, or who knows, you know, or the Bat, since, you know, Ozzy's passed on now, rest in peace to the Prince of Darkness, whatnot. You know, was the Bat waiting for him? Was the Bat standing there with its head like, hey, buddy, you remember me? you know? But they could put stuff like that in the show and, you know, make light of, you know, dumb situations like the Bat, or like, you know, the whole world right now. You know, yeah, I think that'd be a great show. So I'm not saying don't do the battle bots, but I'm saying I think that's a lot better, is the AI celebrity robot death match, or, you know, something like that. And then my last story, because I gotta get going to work, gotta get some gas and something to eat. Last night I was trying to tell somebody something, and I had my vape, but it's not tobacco, it's the other one, and it's long and skinny like a pen, you know. I'll just say pen now that I said that. Anybody who knows. So I got my pen in my hand. Actually, my eye still hurts, and I guess I just fucking gave up the story. But I ended up poking myself in the eye on accident with it. Which, you know, I kind of laughed at. I was like, oh, that was dumb. But then I go to rub my eye because it hurts, and bam, right, you know, back to back, poking the eye again. Okay, that's dumb. That's, again, that hurt. All right. Now a third time, I stand up, and now I'm going to tell my friend, because now I'm pissed but laughing, and because my eye hurts. And I get up, and I go to tell him, and I lift my hand up, and guess where it hits? Right in my eye again, the third time. And I got to the point where I was like, all right, Joe, this is you're getting, like, this is fucking ridiculous, man. You're getting ahead of yourself here, buddy. Like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, man, it killed me. Literally, in my eyes still, I was thinking about it. Been rubbing it this whole cast. And I'm just sitting here like, well, that's the eye I stabbed 3 times. Oh, man, could I at least get some THC in it? Like, did I get a left eye buzz? On that note, and you all know what that means, it is Friday, so we're going to try and enjoy the weekend. You all enjoy the weekend. Happy, healthy, safe, sexy, whatever you want to call it. You know, everything besides what you don't want in life. Bill, welcome back to good old, golden age America. Everybody else, whether you're in golden age fucking blah 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 US or some other beautiful country, have a good weekend. Stay safe, blah blah blah. Go fuck yourselves. Bill, go fuck yourself. Go fuck your idea on the battle bots. My idea's better. If you don't believe me, call me. Alright, I'm out.